Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this very important special report tonight, again, of the Siege of Ottawa. With me tonight, of course, is my co-host on this regular broadcast, Janine Morigeau. You can find her at Sending Ravens and also at Tarot by Janine. Joining us also tonight is Mr. Richard, the woo-woo dude himself. You can find him at woowoodude.com. And last but not least, my treasure hunting buddy extraordinaire, Jason42. You can find him at Jason42 on YouTube and also on his Patreon at patreon.com/Jason4. Gentlemen and lady, welcome back to the show.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, hello. I'm excited to have you on. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight on this live interactive show. Please put your comments in the live chat while we develop the content here for tonight. If you have questions, we'll try to get those at the end of the show. But please do feel free to participate with us here tonight. We're trying to get as much as we can better direction here on where things are going so that we can either correct the course or stay the course, whatever that may be. So let me start with you, Joe. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know that you're excited to play some singing bowls here with us tonight. I think we all need a little bit of a frequency tune up. So Joe, take it away with the singing bowls.
Okay.
Man, that last one has a lot of staying power, doesn't it, Joe? Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Janine, let me start also with you now that we've set the tone and the frequency for the show. Let's also see here what the cards have to say in terms of setting the intention and the energy behind the update here for tonight and for our lovely audience members.
Wow, talking about holding the line. She really knows how to hold the line, but in joy and high frequency. So holding the line of joy and high frequency, even though some people are not feeling that really today or this whole weekend, but it's really important energetically to try to count your wins and count what you know to be good that's happened in the past and our gains and not fall into despair. We're so close here. We falling into despair would be, that's how they win, is when we're all in despair and depression. Okay, this is the past. So a lot of what we're seeing is a movie. Okay, I hate to keep saying that, but this card's telling me that. It's like a lot of made up stuff here or a lot of false information. A lot of what you see is not real. So try to remember that and remember big picture here. While you're witnessing these things, try not to get personally gut punched at every turn because it's easy to do, but it's important to realize we're in a really big chess game here and there's lots of layers to it. And there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. And a lot of what meets the eye has been misconstrued on purpose. Okay. So and a big presence of the good guys around. That's interesting. That was right in the middle. So that was between us holding the line and holding the line in positivity, because the Sun's one of the best cards in the deck is this positive military card and or my Mr. T and the White Hats card or my Alliance card. So there seems to be a presence around of that energy, maybe even in Ottawa right now, because we're kind of focused on what's going on there. So that's interesting. Yeah. Now we've got this, so we're really, really close to a big breakthrough, you guys. This is positively looking forward to the future instead of dreading it would be a really good energy to put forward. Look forward to how you want your life to look and don't assume the worst case scenario right now. It's important to stay focused on your best life coming.
And you know, judging by the police action behind me here tonight, you can see that's the light up here. That's the Peace Tower of the Parliament building. I'm still here in Ottawa trying to report from here. And from their actions today, they're increasing the fencing around. They're increasing the troop numbers here as well. They're going after shop owners now for having served coffee to the truckers. It's absolutely surreal, the situation. And my gut feeling is that when you say, hey, the worst case scenario, I think they believe the worst case scenario is coming from them, coming for them and not us, obviously. So we're going to get into that here a little bit. Let me just mute Richard's mic there. Okay. What was interesting last night, guys, if you were following the show, Janine and I talked about some of the scenarios that are being put forward now. There might be an event being staged here in Ottawa in order to justify these measures so that the vote passes in the House on Monday. We've also seen this video come out now where friends or partners of the trucker convoy are asking all the truckers here in Canada to stop hauling basically as of tomorrow. This was the video on Rumble earlier today. It's on my Twitter. It's also on Cliff High's Twitter. And they're also calling out to Canadians to come and support here and to also not show up for work tomorrow. So this is a campaign that's being put forward by these guys here. It's called Canada-Wide Walkout on February 21. Now, I'll get into an email that I got from Cliff earlier today. I did ask him permission to share that with you guys tonight, and he said yes. But to be careful in the way we present the information, it is a little bit difficult to hear, maybe for some of you, but we decided to bring it forward, and if only for you to be a little bit more prepared to some of the possibilities that can come here. So being prepared is always a good thing, but not being in fear, but being prepared. So we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But when I spoke to Joe last night, he mentioned that Woo Woo Dude was also having some downloads here, or new downloads, new information as it pertained to the situation in Canada. So what I'm going to do here now is give Woo Woo Dude the floor here to share with the audience members what he is seeing and hearing from Spirit, and we'll build the conversation from there. So Richard, the microphone is yours, sir.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest thing in the world that I got, and Joe was really involved in this big time too, of searching out this thing. So I think all that episode, wasn't that on Saturday, Joe? You and I were going back and forth. Yeah. So Saturday around 3 in the morning, you know, that's the witch's hour. Some information was coming to me. And, you know, in the past, I said I saw really for 6 months now. I've been telling people I've read that are up in Canada, I saw Justin falling down the stairs and being very shaky and having a hard time getting up. And then I saw all the people turn their backs on him. And I think we're actually watching this. Well, so it picked up from there, and I saw him falling down the stairs. But this was the thing that was very disconcerting to me. At the bottom of the stairs, now understand, I've never seen the bottom of the stairs. I only saw him falling and having a hard time getting up. There was a woman waiting at the bottom. Now, I know this is going to sound weird to you, but just put it all together, okay? As she was wearing a football uniform, the pads, everything. And there was somebody there that was saying, okay, you're up, you get ready. And basically it came to me that this woman was a ringer. You all know what a ringer is? Okay.
Yeah, tell them. I didn't know either.
Okay. A ringer is somebody that has incredible abilities that they set them up to take the position of somebody else who is far superior, okay, in their capabilities. So this woman was down below and dressed up, and they said, okay, it's your turn. You know, you've been ready for this your whole lifetime, that this woman was being groomed. And then they brought me backwards and they said, oh, this one is very smug, this woman. very smug. She thinks nobody will find out who she is in her bloodlines, and that it seemed that her name might have been changed many times. Not quite sure about it. And they brought me back to, it was either the grandfather or great-grandfather. I think it's a grandfather. This kind of, I hate to say this, but he seems to be connected to Hitler, Adolf Hitler. And that the grandfather either worked high up with Hitler or connected in some way. And that, you know, the powers to be have the deck stacked in a report. You think you get rid of one and you get somebody a lot worse. That's been set up for this. Kind of like Joe brought up to me. He says, yeah, like when that person left New York, I'm trying not to say names, okay? When the gov left New York, a woman came in and it was like she was more of a tyrant. Like, oh my God, okay, positioned. So I told Joe, he goes, well, who is that? I go, I have no freaking idea. So he went hunting.
Well, you said they kept showing you a two.
Yes.
For her, like she's 2.
Yeah.
Like number 2.
Right. In other words, she's going to go in. He falls down. She's ready to go in and take over immediately. But all these things have been hidden on who this person really is. And, and then that day, a lot of Saturday was just crazy. So much validation came in. Joe calls me up. He says, did you see all the police? They all have number 2s on their back. Did you see that? And he says, I go, what? They're being imported from someplace else. All right. And then, again, this was all 4 a.m. Back in the days, when I used to teach channeling with Julianne, I had a very, very powerful channel that came out to everybody that was there. And this goes back years now. And yeah. And they warned everybody there. Now I'm going back probably 6 years. And they warned us of the blueheads. Be aware of the blueheads, they're coming. Now, you know, I'm going, the blueheads. I'm thinking aliens, you know, then I went, oh my God. And you see the markings that are on that. That's the blueheads. So Joe did some research on Saturday and he found her.
Well, and the thing is, it wasn't research. So I'm just doing what I do.
Well, to you it is.
Yeah. And
I mean, to me it is.
This thing pops right in my face and I get this feeling, this is important. And then I just go into it a little bit and I go, oh my God, she's number 2. Oh my God. And I sent it to him. And he's like, oh my God. Okay. And we're just like, all these things just start happening. And we're like, okay, we know who it is. But go ahead.
Why don't you go ahead? And I think you better be very careful on how you say this.
Yeah. So I look up the titles of people in Canada. Like we have vice president and president. You guys have prime minister and deputy prime minister. And deputy prime minister happens to be a female who has been very vocal about we're going to keep some of these temporary emergency measures and make them permanent. And people are like, whoa, who's this chick? You know, what's her deal? And she's very much pro F you guys. We're going to just, you know, government. And I go, oh my God, this is it. This is her. So I sent him some email or text message. As a matter of fact, just to kind of go back. We were like sending stuff back and forth. And I'm like, look at this, screenshot. Canada's Deputy Prime Minister Christina Chrystia Freeland wants to make permanent the invasive financial surveillance system introduced as part of the Emergencies Act. And then, quote, I did not take on this. This is from a previous post from 2019. I did not take on this job to be a spokesmodel, Freeland on Deputy Prime Minister role. So I'm not just here to be the VP. 2019. So she's been waiting, put me in coach, put me in coach, put me in coach. And I think she's about to be put in. And Trudeau's going to have an issue, apparently. Who knows what it is. So I'm looking up, like, well, what's the law in Canada? How could someone like her just take over? And, well, same kind of reasons a vice president would take over. You know, Trudeau's all of a sudden very ill and sick, or he's disappeared for something, and I don't know, he resigns, you name it. There's no voting. She just takes over, and she's the person. So I'm going, ooh. And then I see these plane pictures of UN, and I'm seeing these certain colored police or whatever they are, police officers, if you will. And some of them had numbers, but then, you know, some of the stuff got taken off and they didn't have anything, but they're like, there's these guys with the gray, or not gray, but more like a brown. I'm thinking like the brown shirts, the brown coats. Really? You guys dress in brown? And, you know, no one knows who they are. So where are these people coming from? And they're like, oh, well, I think they pulled them from other parts of Canada. And we're all going, I don't know about that. And then we saw the airplanes with the UN stamp on their symbol.
Right.
And we're going, whoa. And the funny thing, you know, like there's some weird like Matrix movies, you know, kind of Matrix shit happening. And I'm like, and I think I was just talking, we were on the phone. I'm going, I just need to call him and rather than just text right now. I'm driving. So I call him and I see this like Smokey and the Bandit, Firebird, 1976, 77, 78. You know, it's got the little smaller hood scoop thing in the middle of the hood. And this thing is like all red. And I'm like, I've never seen one red. I've seen, you know, they're usually black or whatever. And this one was really nice, real nice condition. The guy was coming at me. So it's just a whole slew of weird things happen here. I'm just going to have to, it's kind of related, not related, but it's just all one thing. So I'm just going to just say it. So a couple months ago, I have this dream, you know, shocker, that I'm in my Tesla and there's this Smoking the Bandit car. And it's that one, that Firebird. Do you need me for something? That's fine.
Hold on, Joe, with the dream for just a second here. Let's just take a first pulse here. There's a lot of people in the audience. Before you even said the name, they're like, oh, it's Freeland, it's Freeland. They're commenting about perhaps her ancestry and how she's connected to some people in Germany. I don't need to repeat that here. It kind of makes sense because we've seen right now, even the Liberal Party, there's some defectors already. So in order to stop that bleeding, they might have to just change leaders temporarily here. So let's take a pulse here with the cards and ask Janine, is this perhaps what's in the card for Trudeau right now? Is the energy already behind the universe here to try to replace him here in another scenario of here, meet the new boss, same as the old boss? Could it be here that they're trying to replace him from the Liberal Party, but from also the executive of the Liberal Party?
Well, I think that's been in the works for a really long time. That was the plan a long time ago, I think, with that Lovers. So she was sort of shadowing him and like waiting. This is waiting for her time. So yeah, that dream sounds like that dream. She's been waiting for this, right? And then this card here is the Page of Wands. So that's definitely something they're considering. Okay, and they've been waiting to do it for a really long time. So this could have been planned a really long time ago.
Oh yeah.
But here's what's interesting. It's going to go differently. The outcome's way different. So the plan was that, and maybe that's what the dreams are picking up on, but something way different is going to happen. There's a whole series of this card's like spiritual input and or energy coming. That comes really fast and furious and focuses on the whole situation. And it's like dominoes effect and changes the whole thing. It'll almost be like an avalanche taking it somewhere else. Something either the bad guys didn't expect or a long time ago, the scenario's been changed and they're just playing out what the old scenario was. So you see it. I don't know if one of those. But something different looks like it's actually going to happen. It takes it in a totally different direction. But that was the plan. It had to do with her. She's been training for it for a really long time. She's also in the club, what I call the dark cult club. And she's been training. But this card indicates that the person you're seeing as her might be a double. So she might have got rounded up about sometime in the last couple of years, which I'm pretty sure Mr. Turdo did. I'm going to call him that. I think he got rounded up, and I don't think we've seen the real guy for quite a while. So she might have also went the same way. So what I think's happening maybe is we got something playing itself out that's going to change in the last minute.
Well, she, Freeland, looked absolutely weird the day they invoked the Emergencies Act. She was standing next to the right and behind of Trudeau as he was invoking it, and then she came on the camera. But she was so jittery, darting everywhere, having trouble breathing through her mask. She looked absolutely stressed, or if not on crack. Somebody's saying she's a junkie of something else here on the line. I don't know about that, but she looked absolutely odd. But let me go back to, so first of all, thank you for that, Janine. In that vision that you're having, Richard, are you seeing this as, well, what would be the outcome of that? Like, let's play it forward a week or 2 weeks. Where does that go from there? If anything, do you have more insight on that vision? Bring it forward.
Yeah, well, again, this whole 222 thing that's been going on for over a year and everything about it. I've said many times over, these people are going to say, oh, shit, I didn't see that one coming. This information that's coming out tonight, oh, shit, I didn't see that one coming. So the cards that she pulled, I'm going to agree. It's kind of like, oh, shit, the cat's out of the bag. Now what the hell are we going to do? And the information goes out there. That's what I'm hoping, that all of a sudden, all the people in woo-woo land out here that have capabilities like Joe to hunt this stuff down will come out with the information and send it everywhere. And this whole thing, with Ukraine, we only got about a day left before the changing of the guards here. Yeah. So many people are concerned that these power players have a lot of power, behind them with money. But the creator said something to me today, and I kind of chuckled. And the creator says, but I have the whole world. Mm-hmm. In other words, I could create a storm. I can create a volcano go off. I can create this. I can create that. They don't realize the dominoes that I'm going to drop. And that even going back to, that island that was exploding, and then they shut it off. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I still believe we're going to see a lot of, oh shit, I didn't see that one coming. So I think there's a lot of surprises. And my cup is half full on all this. And I believe that even though they might be playing with timelines and thinking that, all right, we'll have this person, if they fall, we already have another one. Oh, we already have another one, and so on and so forth. But I think the divine intervention that is happening is going to happen everywhere, not just in Canada. Wow. And the other thing that I got, which I was very, very surprised at, was how we all were saying, well, the whole world's watching. What they told me, they want the whole world to watch. Yeah. Okay. And I really believe that puts out a fear base there. But I say,
that's all, Richard, that's also why the Ottawa police here are cracking down on all alternative media sources. They're not even allowed to be in the red zone anymore. They're being beat up and intimidated and so forth. And they're saying now too that they're going to go after the bank accounts of the alternative media who were reporting disinformation here in the last 2-3 weeks, even though they were interviewing people on the ground here, even though the mainstream media was refusing to do exactly that. So that's fascinating. Joe, let me bring you up on the screen here too. Let's move the dial here in the conversation. So we have that now. What I'm guessing here too, and I think that if we all stay vigilant and we raise the frequency, as Janine said at the beginning of the show, to hold the line energetically and be watchful, it'll be hard for them to pull these last minute tricks, and that we're basically calling in divine intervention here on our behalf, but also us as the cavalry here to make sure that doesn't happen and slip through the cracks. But you and I got an email from Cliff earlier this morning. I asked him if we can share that with the audience. Do you have that close to you now? Do you want to read it out loud? I can bring, hold on, I'll bring that on the screen here. Hopefully you guys can read that. I don't know if you can scroll it to the beginning. I think that works. Let me just remove the comments here. So go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I said, so it looks like we are close to the lows on this push down by the powers that be on cryptos. Because the pressure was down. I now know that in March and April we will be running up, which is interesting because that's kind of the woo thing, whatever I've been sensing. Like March and April should be those months, but I'm thinking we may still get a slam down after that, and then a quick, it'll be fast, and then we just go back up. But nonetheless, interesting that he picked that, those 2 months. This is likely going to be an epic scale up for cryptos since the flow in March out of Canada, banks and government bonds and such, has to go somewhere. Now, I'm just going to add something here that Woo Dude has told us a while back, a couple of times, not in recently, but just a little while back. And you said, Ukraine launders things for the elite, this kind of stuff. And like, that's their playground. So the other day I go, dude, they just legalized crypto. Bitcoin, just out of nowhere. There's about to be a war. Oh, let's legalize crypto. What? But he said, way before this money or, laundromat-ish thing, these guys, he goes, they're going to have to put their money, the people who've been using that system are going to have to put their money somewhere. They're not going to be able to just leave it out. They've got to put it somewhere. He goes, as that news tightens on them, they're going to have to go into crypto. He goes, I see them going into crypto. You're going to see Bitcoin just like it's, like it usually has like you see it going up. He's like, I just see it like doing these jumps. And then it's up here now. And then it's jumps. Oh, it's up here now. And you'd mentioned 50K Bitcoin possibly. Some kind of marker, I think. I forget what you were talking about the other day on that. But then, 200K was coming at some point. So I just wanted to just add that to this, even though this is not Cliff. That part's not Cliff. So, Cliff's saying this now. Woo Dude's already told us this thing about Ukraine, at least, and cryptos. And that's just one country. They may panic elsewhere and go, okay, we're all going to have to get into cryptos. Next thing you know, we're all sitting on huge fortunes because of these people putting their ill-gotten gains into our stuff, which is great. So to continue, mortgages are not going to sop up much of it, especially as new house building is off by about 36% nationally. Huge, giant puke out. Anyways, so if you need it, in other words, if there's something out there you need, you better get it soon. When cryptos run, expect things like meat, milk, fuel to just go as fast. So $15 a gallon gas, $10 a gallon milk, that's coming in our future. So again, I'm going to stop for a second because I don't know if I've said this publicly yet, but I did have a dream very recently. And so my friend of mine was asking me about mortgages, and he's ready to go buy a house in Florida. I want some land, and then I'm like, man, things are high, man. And I'm going, let me see if I can get a dream for you. Let me just see. 2 days later, get a clear as day dream. Yes, we're at the peak of mortgages. Now is not the time to buy. It's going to come down. Okay. Then they give me this immediate next dream, which I had nothing to do with or ask about. Just that dream stops. Boom, you're in a new dream. Same night. And I'm at the grocery store with my wife, Evelyn, and we want to go buy some steaks. So we go there, and they've got this bag, like a clear plastic bag looking thing, of different types of cuts of steaks. Got the center cut and the whatever, filet mignon, different ones. It's about 5 or 6 steaks in there. And I'm like, oh, a little smorgasbord of steaks, a little combination. I go, all right, let's grab it. So she's like, oh my God, you see how much money this is? And I didn't even look. I'm like, well, I mean, I did, but I didn't get the information. So I'm like, well, we've got the money and we want these damn steaks. We haven't had a steak in a while. Let's just get them. Okay. So we just went there strictly for these steaks. We go to check out, and the girl has to scan each steak inside the bag somehow. And she gets to the middle ones, because they're kind of in rows like that, like columns. And the 2 middle ones are the biggest stakes of the whole bag. And I don't know what types they were, it doesn't matter. And she can't ring those up. All the other ones rung up, but those two can't get the price not accurate. So yes, I got to call my manager, and then I wake up and I go, I think what that represents, obviously, we got some major prices coming, hikes on everything. But on food in particular, I think they're saying to us, in that instance, like, let me give you an example. I think this happened in Venezuela. I think this happened maybe in Argentina when their dollar they've been through several collapse dollars in Argentina, and maybe some other country, maybe Zimbabwe. They wouldn't even price stuff the next day because they said by the next day you're gonna need another extra wheelbarrow full of money. We're not giving you that price today, tomorrow for today's prices. So no, come check with us immediately in the morning when we start to open. We'll look at the prices of the dollar online, how much it got destroyed, and then we'll adjust our prices accordingly. That's what they were doing. That's actually happened. So my kind of interpretation of what I got, why they showed me these two stakes, you can't price them right now, was because what are they going to be tomorrow? And what are they going to be the next day? We can't even give you the price right now. We got to scan them right away and then tell you, okay, here's the price. Yeah. So that was kind of my interpretation of that part. So I just got this a few days ago. And I'm like, okay, this is getting interesting. So back to Cliff. Anyway, so if you need something, better buy it soon. When cryptos run, expect meat, milk, fuel to go just as fast. $15 a gallon gas, $10 a gallon milk. It's coming in our future. Also watch for the potential that is, I guess, Southern California and most of Southern Nevada and Southern Arizona and other areas, maybe even into Colorado, to be basically abandoned as electricity rates first go ballistic in the area. He says maybe a 10,000% increase in just like 2 months. Then total lack of power. This is due to cold-induced jet stream changes that will take the current drought and make it worse than anything in the last 13,000 years. So like since the last ice age. We should have the electricity crisis and Las Vegas and Reno problems by late summer. Anyways, out to go buy some stuff, as he was saying, to go get some stuff out he needed now. Right. So I just,
Hold on a second, Joe. Thank you for that. Let me bring Janine here. There's quite a few pieces in there that we can kind of break down and pull some cards on. But first, share with the audience also what you've been getting today in the last couple of days, also about stocking up and getting ready, both from you, from Spirit, from cards, and also from what you're getting online. Share that now with the audience members. Again, here, not to do fear-mongering, but to bring people here into a better stability of being prepared and knowing perhaps the worst case scenario, and being prepared for that is very important right now as well. Go ahead, Janine.
Okay, so I'm just going to say, whenever I look at money situations in the coming year, I don't get that. Every time I look, I always get something's coming underneath what we're seeing, and it's going to help alleviate a lot of that. So we might see some of that, but I never get it like that. So I'm just going to say that because I've looked at it so many times. Whenever I look into the next year financially, by this time next year, humans are doing better, not worse. So, take that or leave it. I'll just leave that there. And what I have been getting, though, is temporarily, there could be something going down this week on the Tuesday 2-2-2-2-2.
Yeah.
All those twos, there could be. And we got the Trump social coming out. So if the Q stuff, oh, whoops, I shouldn't have said that. The 17th letter of the alphabet stuff turns out to be true. Things could be going down like soon or even this week. And in which case, if that is true, then we might have those lockdowns for other reasons, and military locking down the world for other reasons. At first, it'll look bad. And it looks like they're kind of gearing up to stuff like that. There's all this gearing up. And a lot of what we're seeing could be faked. Like we could be watching a movie and the movie's about to take a big dip over to into exposing all of these creeps, which honestly, if you're watching, none of it makes sense. That's almost the only thing that makes sense to me. So I've been getting, you do need to stock up, but maybe for like 3 weeks worth. I don't get the long-term devastation of economy. I think there's a new money system right up and underneath that's actually already functioning alongside the old one. But that's just me, what I get. So I'm not disagreeing with Cliff. I'm sure he's
And to be fair, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out there, but to be fair, also, you're not going against what he's saying. What he's saying right now is he sees hyperinflation, but in many other reports, he's also talking about this new parallel human organic economy taking its place. So it doesn't mean that it's a forever disaster, Weimar Germany for the rest of our lives. He's saying that we're going through this process, and what he's seeing in the Webbot data now is that this panic to own into crypto, this hyperinflation is about to hit our shores. And of course, we've seen it in Turkey. It is now in Europe. We're seeing that, and we're very close to seeing that on our shores. So you guys are talking about the same thing, but two different elements in that trajectory, I believe, is what's happening, just to be clear for the audience. But let's go back to these shortages. What the movement appears to be right now, and I don't know that it will be successful, but if these truckers, instead of descending on Parliament Hill or l'Assemblée Nationale in Quebec or in Alberta, decide to just park their rigs tomorrow across Canada, that means, we're typically 2 to 3 days away from having empty supermarkets. So we could see some of those scenarios. And I think this is what you were also getting online today on Twitter and some of your other feeds. People were saying, well, yeah, not a bad idea also to stock up. And in the context of the hyperinflation right now, if you need stuff, maybe get it now before some of the current money system is worthless to you, as we wait for perhaps this new economy to emerge parallel to this one. Does that make sense, Janine? Are we still?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been stocking up for months.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been also divesting outside of the old system, getting into physical gold and silver and crypto yourself here too. And of course, the gentlemen above me here also are all on that same page. So we recommend to the audience here, not what to do financially, but at least to educate yourselves on all of these other avenues to divorce yourself from the old system. Clearly, the old system is crumbling right before our eyes. Okay, so Janine, let's can you bring back up that slide? I'm asking my producer here to bring back the email from Cliff there. I'm missing a component. Let me see if I can bring it back up. Here you go. Okay, so the milk, the hyperinflation for a while, we're already seeing it. The prices of food here in Ottawa have gone up quite a bit. I wanted to bring up something because as you guys were talking, I'll come back to Cliff's email here. I got an email from somebody who used to work in a high department and who had met Chrystia Freeland maybe 3-4 years ago. And the person just emailed me now, said, hey, JC, I met this person a couple of years ago at a conference face-to-face for a long period of time. And the person we're seeing on the news is clearly not that same person. So FYI, coming from somebody who works at very high levels and who would have access to say that. So I thought that was interesting. I thought I'd share that. I asked permission and the person said yes to share that with you guys. So there's that. Now going back to Cliff's email, so let me see if I can bring this back up. What was the 13,000 years there? The cold. Okay. Of course, Janine, you and I have been looking at this movie outside where people were talking about global warming for these last number of years, and we're like, we're not exactly getting that. We're getting the contrary here. We're getting into a solar minimum, and we need to do things differently. You've espoused that belief to many people on the show before that they need to start growing their own food, trying to be a little bit more self-sustainable. So let's pull some cards on that right now. Let's take a pulse on that too, because there could be divine intervention in here also that switches the energy and the flow here of time for us here on the planet. But let's take a pulse now as to this idea of this grand solar minimum and how humans need to prepare for that also, if only the mindset right now and not also in physicality. What can the universe tell the audience members here? Pamela Stone, hold on. Pamela Stone says, no fear, just wisdom and being prepared. I love that. That's the whole point of the show. I see everybody's nodding. Yes. Okay, go ahead, Jenny.
Wow. Okay, so all of what you're talking about being considered by that wise old soul energy I keep talking about, galactic helpers and or even our future selves. So this wisdom card and big secrets. So there's a lot going on in the background that they, know about that we don't know yet. So that whole spiritual intervention thing comes to mind when you say that, right? And then right in the middle, as we're defeating the bad guys, so this could be my what I call the dark cult when I'm on YouTube. Otherwise, I'll use its real name. So these guys, okay, so we've been battling them. And that's, I think, as we go with that conflict we're in, we'll call it a conflict, that's like a spiritual conflict, an information conflict. Okay, there's all of these things, factors happening in the background that are beyond our understanding because they are spiritual. They come from a different, there's a whole bunch of spiritual secrets that are going on, watching over. And I feel like it's unknown how that'll go depending on how we do the next few days and weeks. I honestly think how we react, and this is a big, huge spiritual lesson for everybody. And I feel like there's still a lot of play there. It may be that, but it's not known for sure. That's on hold, and the universe says, well, we haven't decided how we're going to do that yet. So with a lot of positive intention and vision, to the contrary, we might be able to swing better weather than that. That's what I think.
Very good. That's interesting. Richard, can you give us an update on these ideas of asteroids? You've mentioned this on the show a few times before. Some of them, I think, have already occurred, been obfuscated by mainstream news, and we've seen some fires and some event blamed on other things as opposed to the asteroids here on the planet. But can you give us maybe a beat on some of those old visions of these asteroids hitting strategic places around the world? Where is that in the timeline for now, Richard?
Well, we're in the timeline of it, but this goes back to what I've said from the time I met Joe, is that we are in a time of the crossing of the planets. It's real, it's happening. And I know everybody was saying that the sun would become very inactive. And over a year ago, I said the sun's going to become very, very active. So I was saying the opposite of everybody. And as you can see, even over the last few days, the sun's really reacting to something behind it. And that was something they explained to me, that this dark sun that's heading our way is interfering with our sun and also the planets that go along with it. It's happening. This is why we're having the weather issue. And I warned people a year ago when Joe and I would talk about it, that you'll see hail come down, that it'll take two hands to hold some of it. And that's been happening. I'm sure a lot of it's been hiding, but the weather systems are going to get very, very weird and very big. And it's not weather warfare. Do we have the ability to do that? Yeah, but not to the size of what we're going to see. It's just one of these things, you know, it's all interconnected. It doesn't mean, oh, that's the end of the world. Not at all. Oh. You know, it's called, we will adapt. And what I kept getting shown as these things occur, that more and more technologies will be released that will help us through these things. Mm-hmm. All right. So I don't look at it as a big negative. I look at it as the elite. Back then, I said, you're going to see everybody fighting for land, and you'll see countries going against countries. Well, what are we watching right now? And I said on Joe's channel that they're all trying to control the financial system. And they're hoping that after the dust settles, after the storm goes by, whatever they have is theirs. Mm-hmm. And I said, it ain't going to work out that way. All right. So everything you're seeing in Canada, Ukraine, all these places, it's all about the financial system, because who rules the financial system rules the world. Okay. But it's just not going to happen the way they think. And, you know, when you were discussing the prices of things, I mean, when was the last time you guys bought anything? You know, I mean, the prices, I just filled up again tonight. Every day I get gas if I go out. And I'm paying $3.50. A year ago it was $1.99. Mm-hmm. That's a hell of a jump, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
And the price of food. But remember, what I've always said is that they keep telling me we're going to need dollars, we're going to need silver, and we're going to need cryptos, that this is a wave. Okay, it's not going to be straight across for anything, but it'll help us to go through these things. And I don't look at it as forever in any manner. I believe this is going to be an adjustment with the financial systems and with the silver, okay, is going to be backed, you know, and the cryptos, every time we turn around, another country legalize it. But the other thing, you're going to see funny things. You're going to see states in the United States that'll say, yeah, we're going to legalize Bitcoin. Oh, really? Okay. But it's going to go everywhere because it's part of this new system that's occurring, and they're just trying to figure out how to make it work correctly. So it's going to happen. It is happening. And I'm going to tell you, we only got about a day left, okay, for 2222 to be here. And you know, I said that 6 or 8 months ago. I said that came right from spirit. That was a real serious date for us to pay attention. And I keep saying it's the changing of the guard, and it's all interconnected to the financial system and everything. This has to happen. Do you think it's a hell of a coincidence that they're talking about, you know, the Ukraine thing, the Taiwan thing, and it's so hot right now in the Ukraine, in the Russia thing? And Canada's happened all at the same time? Come on, man. Yeah, that's a coincidence, because this is it. This is it.
And let me bring up something you're saying also. I was talking to Julie from Maison Jupiter the other day, and she was saying about the 222 and all of these dates, generally speaking, that's at the zenith of that particular energy. But the events could happen before the 222 and also after the 222. So this is it's like a target point, but these astral bodies have big movements and they take time to move across the planet. So yes, it is the zenith point, but we have to understand also that the events can happen a little bit before and a little bit after as well. I see your heads shaking. I just wanted to say that for the audience members who may be naysayers. Oh, JC, it didn't happen on 222. Well, it might have happened, but we're not going to feel the effects of it for another 3-4 days, just as Cliff was saying about February 19th being that big date, and us maybe only realizing around the 22nd or the 23rd. We're in that now. Joe, did you mention silver? Let me bring this up again here for the folks. If you're looking at physical silver in your own possession, please consider these discounts here that are afforded to the Beyond Mystic audience. This is from Miles Franklin here on the Beyond Mystic website. So it's beyondmystic.net/silver. And for the Canadian subscribers, we have also the MF Bullion Canada affiliate program as well, and there I believe the Krugerrands are $569 Canadian over spot, a really good deal for you guys as well. So please do go check that out. And again, educate. Now, in terms of this narrative with Ukraine, we saw the French Prime Minister or Macron today talking with Putin to try to basically de-escalate what's happening in Ukraine, and we also saw one of the heads of states in Ukraine saying that there's no evidence here of any Russian incursion, and they don't see that on the map. You're saying no here, Richard. Is that actually?
Listen.
That's what you're saying.
I'm not one to fit what I get from spirit into anything. I say it like it is. You know, when I was on Joe's channel the last time, I talked about my hospital, but I also gave everybody a vision that I got in the hospital with Putin, okay, fighting in the ring. If you know, I don't want to go across the whole thing. You can go watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm not changing a damn thing, okay? The 2-2 parable has been too powerful for me. I've got to follow it to the end. Whatever it is, we'll see.
Yeah.
But the other day, I can't remember what day, I called Joe up. I said, Joe, Putin just did the head fake. They told me he did the head fake. Okay. And that's when he pulled his equipment off the line a little bit. It was a head fake. Well, I'm going to tell you. Okay. And I'll leave my words. And everybody said, oh, whoa, dude, you're full of shit. I want to be full of shit. Okay. I mean, really? It's like, let me be wrong. Okay. But I saw this, and in that fighting ring, all right, you're a martial artist. He set up that big guy, which was NATO, with 2 roundhouses to the thigh. And boy, that hurts like hell. And then he sat down and played chess.
Yeah.
And came out smiling. And then he went to throw the leg, but he faked and went for the head. I went, oh, shit. He's not screwing around. Listen, he could take NATO take Ukraine in a second. But that doesn't solve the bully. The bully is NATO and EU. It's the bully. All right. He's got to do something. And I pray to God, it doesn't have anything to do with war. I hope he gets himself in a position that said, really, you want to go now?
Right.
And then it ends. And then everything that has to do with the financial system is connected to this. However it comes down, I don't know. Okay. But I'm not going to try to fit what I got into a narrative. I got to stick with it. So I'm not going to try to,
I appreciate that. Okay. And again, because the fog of war, and this is why we're bringing all of these different data points together to get a bigger picture here of what's going on. Now,
I believe this is a positive, JC, that this really is the changing of the guard. This has to be done. People have got to be put back in the position and say, enough of this shit. We all need to get along here in this world.
Yeah,
we really do. And it can't keep going the way it is. It can't. It just can't. So I'm hoping for, like I always say, my cup is half full. And I know there's a greater hand up here. And that's where I'm at. I really am.
Right. Let's get into this here. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. I'll get to Janine to chime in on Ukraine here too. But just Josiane also, Credit Suisse now, there's a leak that is unmasking criminals, fraudsters, and corrupt politicians. Again, this falls directly in line to the astrology, what Julie from Maison Jupiter was bringing us in the last couple of shows, including the Astro Wu Finance for February. We were going to see here around the 19th, or maybe even on the 20th. Today is actually the 20th. I forget the alignment here. But on or around those days here, information that would show where these politicians are getting their money from, where the fraud is coming from. And here, this just now on Credit Suisse. So Janine, let me bring you up on the screen. Anything you want to add, either from your personal viewpoint or from the cards on Ukraine? I'm sure the audience members would like to hear that. And also this now, this breaking news here that we're getting this leak unmasking these criminals and where these politicians are hiding and maybe getting their monies from. Go ahead, Janine.
Well, I really felt intuitively woo-woo dude, Richard.
Darling, you could call me Richard.
Richard is absolutely right. Like what he's saying is like energy that I feel, but couldn't really put into words. Something big's going down, and it's going down. I'm thinking 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah, I really think big stuff's going down, and it's gearing up, and everything. Like the whole Putin thing, like feels to me like a whole bunch of posturing, and who knows really what they're going to do. It sounds like Richard has a little more of a line on that energetically. He's picked up on that. So let's just see what the cards want to say about that.
Okay, let's do that one first, and then we'll get into this big disclosure here of some of this criminality. And again, just a day before Truth Media or Truth Social comes available on the Apple Store. Again, big days. And Wisdom Wealth Crypto in the chat, she's saying, yeah, 2. Yeah, we're here now, or very close. Go ahead, Janine.
So it's going to get to right to the edge, and they'll back off when it becomes really obvious that Putin isn't. That's what I get. So they back off, and then deals are struck. So that's interesting. So it feels like it gets really edgy. Is that what you were getting, Richard, or how were you getting it?
Yeah, absolutely. Faking them out, and going for the head of the snake, simply put. All right. The old money, the oligarchs, the people have run this world for the last 2,000 years. This shit's got to end.
Yeah.
Okay. The whole world needs to be freed. not one country, the whole world.
Yeah.
All right. And the only way you're going to do that strategically is to have the power to. So it's really simple. You know, whatever this completed fakeness, this fake out that's happening in the ring, okay, is going to bring this thing to a head.
Yeah.
This is an incredible time. Now, you know, don't forget what I kept saying. I kept seeing Bitcoin at 200 G's, which is crazy. So I think I said this to Snippy, or I said it to Julia. I said, well, the good side about it, if I saw it at 200,000, that means I must still be here. So you just got to go, listen, the system's got to change.
Yep.
Okay. But it's all happening at the same time. Like I said, there's no coincidences that Canada's going through this right now. And I'm telling you, I still believe there's a bigger shaking that's coming to the United States. I'm not sure what it is, but I keep seeing a man getting grabbed by the ears and get shaken. So either we're going to shit ourselves because we're going to have a choice too. Like, really? You want to start in too? All of a sudden you find out there's 9 submarines with nuclear warheads up and down San Diego and the East Coast. You're going, yeah, maybe we ought to make some agreements here.
Maybe we should rethink that. Okay. Janine, did you have a few last cards on Ukraine there you wanted to show the audience? And then we'll get into this Credit Suisse article. And Lisa Davis here, like when Lisa is saying that, yeah, in that article that she just sent me, thank you, Lisa, for that. I appreciate that. The article mentions the Vatican and also little people and maybe more here. So this again is what the astrology was talking about, the sexuality, some of those secrets coming up and how that ties into the money system. So we might be very close to that. So keep going, Janine.
Okay, with that 4, and then I had that other 4 of Pentacles. So the 4 of Pentacles would represent who's been hanging on for dear life, all the money. Okay, so that's the dark cult or whatever, the bad guys, the bankers, that little bunch of people that have been ruling the whole world for all these years. Okay, so everything is tied together, and Ukraine seems to be sort of almost like the spark or something, or just throws everything, the switch. And we do change, like, so the changing of the guard and the money changes all in the same breath here. It looks like the whole world's going to change, and a lot of exposure of hidden things that are hidden become visual and or accessible, because that ace becomes real and you can look at it. It becomes physical in the world. We're going to see a lot of things out, I think, after that date. It might just be the tinderbox spark or whatever, but then things come tumbling out. It'll be brilliant, but really heart-wrenching for a lot of people too.
And no wonder our vagus nerve system is going crazy here. Like Cliff I was saying the other day, we're going through this transformation and our whole body is receiving all of these energies of change. Commutare, I believe is how he titled his article on his Substack. It's on my Twitter now. You can also find it on Cliff's Twitter. Go check it out. Okay, so Janine, going back here to this Credit Suisse leak now that is unmasking these criminals and also these politicians. What can the cards tell us here as to what's coming out, maybe as soon as tomorrow also with through social, and what's coming out in the field with respect to the little people, where the money's coming from, and how all of this ties in perhaps also to off-world activities?
Well, it definitely brings out the whole issue of what's been going on in the dumbs. So little people going as little as newborns, right? Like, so that whole situation,
wow,
that's so hideous that it's going to be really hard to explain to people and get them to actually look at it. Okay, it feels like that whole trafficking thing of humans, wow, what they make with them. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Joe, let me bring you in here also on this Credit Suisse thing. You've been talking about this. You've received a few strikes. You had those dreams about the trafficking in Latin America. You and I have talked about this in the show before. What have you been getting as of late in some of these dreams? What can you share with the audience here as to perhaps what's coming out from your dreamscape and from your meditation, guided meditations, although on this particular subject of secrets revealed here?
Yeah, as far as the kids and that stuff, I haven't gotten anything on that in quite a long time. But I did get some stuff. It was a little while back when the ship was stuck in the canal, and I'd asked what's that ship, those shipping containers, what all is in there that I need to know about, and I saw essentially, what was in there with people, and I go, oh, interesting, but nothing ever broke news about it. Like, was it on that ship in particular, or were they just letting me know, maybe not that ship, but this shipping industry, boy, there's a lot of crates, shipping containers on different ships that have that going on. I don't know. But, I never did see a news story about that particular ship with anything on it, but I did get the answer when I asked. And I was like, okay, they showed me pretty loud and clear. It's happening. But lately I haven't got anything on that particular topic. But now it's just about like the inflation. Prices are going to go up. Get your generators filled up to the top. Get them ready. If you don't have a generator, get it ready. Yeah. Stuff like that. Again, I had that dream about the EMP blackout thing, all that stuff. Then I had a second dream a few days later, which usually for me, when I have the same information come like that, it's usually my sign that it's a close thing, because they usually don't give me times or like, oh, this is gonna happen next week. I don't get that. They'll give me something and I'll just be like, oh, here's what I got. Let's see what happens. But like 3 times the charm or whatever, like, okay, we're really, really close. So I only had 2 of those, but yeah, I just, and our friend Bill, he gets stuff every now and then. Like, he'll wake up, he'll be in that little sweet spot where he's half asleep, and he'll just get this download and write it down as fast as he can before he forgets it. And he sent me a text just a few days ago, and he's like, "Oh man, I just got, blackouts, extreme inflation, hyperinflation, inflation, food, gas, all this stuff." And I'm like, "What do you mean you just got?" He's like, when I woke up this morning, man, he goes, I had to write it down fast, so because I'll forget it quick if I don't." And I go, well, that's interesting. And he was hanging out in Mexico for a while because it was cheap living over there. And he goes, I'm just getting this feeling that I need to get out of there and come back. And I'll go, get a job and everything, because they were just kind of living off of some excess reserves over there. And he's like, I'm just going to get a job back in the U.S. And I feel like I don't want to be there. Even though it's a nice place, people are real nice. It wasn't, you hear some of these scary stories about Mexico, and where he was at was just really nice. People were very nice, that sort of thing. So, I don't know. I just had this dream about, like I was saying earlier, about this Smokey and the Bandit car that I was racing in my Tesla, and it was like a real close race. Like, oh man, that thing runs good, for nowadays. And I'm like, I wonder why they showed me that. Maybe I'm going to be getting in a race with the car. Is it going to be that exact car? I haven't had any races with my Tesla yet, And
you're muted.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Or are we finally off to the races here to this panic to own in crypto? KN is asking, JC, what are your sources telling you about where cryptos are going in the next couple of months? If we go back to that article that Cliff was talking about earlier today, he's seeing prices starting to go up in March. In terms of the astrology, there's still a lot of volatility, but I believe it's after April or May, we come into a whole new territory, and we'll never see the numbers that we're in now if you go from the astrology standpoint. So Joe, let's talk about the Panic to Own crypto crash course and try to answer the question here as to what you and Woo Woo Dude are getting also about cryptos, and I'll get Janine to pull some cards on that as well.
Yeah, so I just think maybe, and it could start as early as before this month ends, where cryptos started, like Cliff had mentioned in the email. I think we're pretty much down at the bottom right now. And then maybe March we start to go up, and there might be a couple of coins in particular that really go up. And my Patreons know those 2 coins that I keep talking about, but I've mentioned them in my own videos. But generally speaking, the market we think is going to go on a big run, a big rally. And again, it could, like Cliff said the other day about the one email we talked about, where he said, Joe's cryptogasm 222 thing. It's 22, it's right there around that 19th starting time frame for, begins there, doesn't end there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, up or down? He's like, I don't know. Data's not telling me if we're crashing or going up. He just said there's just something. Yeah. So again, this could all happen. And with Bill's email or text, he ended it. He goes, it was like all this stuff happens all at once. He's like, in 24 hours, the whole system changed. Like in 24 hours, like all this stuff, blackouts, prices, and then all of a sudden we're in this new thing. And what the hell just happened? And I thought that was strange.
It's like the Nixon moment in 1971 on that Sunday night. We're close to a Nixon.
Temporary, gold.
Just temporary. So folks, check out Panic to Own, the crash course here. It'll help you create your own wallet, your exchange, get your first purchases done in a secure and safe manner. You can find that at BeyondMystic.net. It's a 2.5 hour course here to get you started. Altogether, if you were to do this, you can find all this information, of course, on YouTube, but it would probably take you 40 hours to put this all together in the correct way. So please give us a try here on Beyond Mystic. Joe and I put a lot of thought into this. Somebody was asking, JC, when are the Beyond Mystic silver bars coming? Soon. Okay, so I'm done with my design, and the guys at Beyond Mystic have to create that into the template to press on the bars. Andy sent me an example of those bars. They're nice artisan 10-ounce bars, so they're rounded out. They don't look like that square typical what's that, sunshine mint. They don't look like that. They look really, really cool. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Janine, just as we close out the show here, and bring up the slide also about the viewers, live viewers. I'm going to bring that up to show you guys where we're at tonight. Absolutely excited to share that with you. But Janine, let's talk about crypto here. The person was asking, in the month of March here, are we going to see some upward movement, as Cliff is also predicting here, in both crypto, but also gold and silver? Janine, what do the cards have to say?
Well, I'll do them separate.
Okay.
So we'll start with crypto.
Okay.
Interesting. It feels like it'll go down first and then move up. So this is a slow move up, because this is more careful and slow with the pentacles. So you could actually, because there's going to be some kind of a big loss here, which could even be the whole money thing crashing sometime between now and end of March. Okay. And it's based in something dysfunctional. Well, that feels like the market crash that we've been seeing for ages. Wow. Okay. And then it starts going up. So it does this first. So I get a crash and then slowly like move up. This card's a little slower, like in time though, then it moves up. So that I don't quite get it. Then it really like between now and say 8 months from now, you're sitting really pretty with a lot of different cryptos. I don't know exactly which ones, but some of them for sure look really good, because this is wealth and this is, but none of it looks like extreme hikes where it's like all of that steady growth but first a crash. So that feels like a market crash comes first, and then some really good steady growth. And some of them literally making you wealthy.
Okay. And again, that aligns with the astrology that Julie was picking up here. I think it was May, June, July also favoring this decentralized world as opposed to the old world. So we're going to have some volatility here and maybe even upward movements, but really in earnest, probably by the summer. So for all of you people who think, I missed the boat, it's too late to get into crypto. Nope, not too late at all. But again, education. Okay, and let's get into silver and gold, Janine. What does that look like here moving forward?
Okay, that's a little more drastic, where it drastically gets lucrative, it goes up. That feels like that'll, like maybe the crash actually releases it almost off its leash.
Oh, wow.
Metals. So, and I think it'll be metals. Like, I don't think it'll just be silver or just gold. I think it'll be all kinds of metals. I just get a feeling about that. Yeah, because this is in the past and it's been kept down. It's almost like it's been kept immature. It's been, they haven't been admitting what it's worth.
And you know what's funny? Just the last couple of days, Deutsche Bank was saying openly in the mainstream news that they weren't leaving out or off the table a big revaluation of gold to try to deal with some of this inflation here. So when they're saying it in public news, we're pretty close to those events. Okay, guys, we're at now we're at 10. Let me start rounding up the show here. I'm going to start with Richard, I guess, last words of advice, then Joe, where we can get your work and what else you have on the screen for them, and then I'll finish with Janine. But before I do that, I do want to share this slide with you guys. That was about a minute ago. We're actually higher than that now. We're at 12,000 people watching live here on this live broadcast. So absolutely a big thank you to all of you for watching the show. Please like the show. Please subscribe on the channel. Please comment if you're watching this on repeat. All of that interaction really helps out with the algorithms to promote these episodes so that they go further and reach more people. That's the whole point of doing these shows here. We're trying to hold that line energetically, and we need to share that message with everyone. So at no cost to you, if you can please do that, share this and also like and comment and participate here on the shows. A big thank you to all of you making that possible. Really appreciate it.
So you have like 10 times more viewers than Biden?
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. Can you imagine? Well, just last month I put up a slide too with the numbers that are skewed. YouTube is telling me that I had 1.2 million views. That's more than CNN, by the way, and that was just in the last 28 days. I put that stat up from my dashboard on Twitter, so absolutely crazy. Richard, last words of advice or anything else here from Spirit that the audience needs to know before we reconvene for this next special update report here?
Yeah, stay positive. All the financials are going to be interconnected together. I definitely see gold and silver being reevaluated. They'll have no choice. But I do believe it's at the same time with the cryptos. As I said the last time, a lot of people thought maybe I'm going to try to sell and grab the bottom. And I believe it's going to be so quick that it's not going to be feasible. So I'm in where I'm in, and I really believe that the bottom will be more of a shock and awe that whatever happens with the Ukrainian debacle, with whatever goes on over there, and also Canada, that these things, obviously anything like this is going to make the stock market drop. The cryptos are still tied to the hip to the stock market, but there is going to be a separation. It's a great time, within the next couple of days, I believe, to try to buy at your low if you can. I just didn't want to try to catch a falling knife. So it's like, how greedy do I want to be? I know where it's all going. I can wait. So, yeah. I think the outlook for the cryptos is going to be very quickly. And I just looked at my calendar. Hey, man, it's March in like 7 days. Can you wait a week? Come on. You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah.
Hold on. And I'm, of course, looking forward to March 1st here, because here in Ontario, they're dropping all the mandates. So I'll be able to go to the restaurant again and not feel like a leper and be locked up in my own house. Joe, you're also muted. Go ahead, Joe.
What about New Mexico? You allowed to take a trip or no?
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, absolutely. I've been itching to go back onto the mountain with you guys. I was just talking to Sarah about that the other day. I'm like, oh, man, I can't wait. I think, judging by what's happening now with all the change, you and I might have to postpone that a little bit more, unfortunately, just to deal with our families, the housing situation, whatever is happening in the world. But yeah, we'll come back to that for a sec. So Joe, how do we get in contact with you? What's going on JSNIP4 2 and also on your Patreon for the audience members here who perhaps are just now taking the crypto crash course but need a little bit out of an extra hand? How can you help them out here?
Yep, got my Patreon, JSNIP4 on Patreon. In the JSNIP4's Crypto Woo Woo in the middle, I tell you everybody what I'm doing, or Woo Woo dude call me. You just got a download from Spirit about some coin or a coin word. Yen's gonna make a move. Usually when he calls, it's soon. Like there's no waiting hardly when he gets a download. My dream sometimes it just takes a while, but yeah. So that's mainly what I'm doing there, and I share a little bit about my woo woo dreams and things, even if it's not necessarily related to crypto, because it's just so much stuff seems to happen after I get these dreams. I'm just like, wow, I might as well share it. And then I got that little elite package where, you know, sometimes people, Joe, look at my portfolio, or hey, I got a question about something. They want me to give them a direct answer, you know, that kind of thing. So you can reach me that way in the elite. It's not hissing.
Nice cat there.
That's the meanest cat in the world right there, the Pussinator. Oh my God.
Hey guys, also I want to ask you to please help out my buddy Joe. He just got a recent strike again here on YouTube. He and I are deletion buddies here on YouTube. We're those serious offenders. So please do go check out Jason42 on YouTube and subscribe to his channel as well. He's got amazing content there. So thank you, Joe. I really appreciate you being on tonight and setting the tone for this conversation with the singing bowls at the beginning of the show. That was absolutely amazing. Janine, last words of wisdom or pull from a card here. What do we need to know in the next 24 to 48 hours here for the audience members?
Okay, so kind of a theme seems to be going on, reminding us not to stay and see how this guy's focused on the cups that spilt. So there's all these spilt cups of wine, it looks like, because they don't look white, so they must be wine, they're red. But there's two full ones right behind this guy. So he's depressed and focused on what didn't happen, maybe with the truckers or with your life or with the world right now. So like you could spend a lot of time complaining or being, you know, worried and scared about what you're hearing and, you know, what's happened so far. Remember this. So this is what to remember. Things have been all kinds of things. It's like we're working through all of these things. And the world we're getting more evolved, not less. We're learning, growing, and this card's like we've been working so hard, especially this community that's watching. Don't forget to value what you've been learning all of these last 2 years, not what hasn't happened. It's actually like exposing all of this stuff, and we can never go back to not knowing. We can never devolve. The government can devolve. We're unraveling the government. We're never going to let them get away with the stuff they've got away with. Everybody's eyes on, they got video on, and they're calling out everything. Like even the stuff that's been going on, they wouldn't be able to pull off a false flappy thing if they wanted to, because everybody's got eyes on what they're up to. Okay, it'll get called out. Do you know what I mean? So instead of worrying about what hasn't happened or how hard it's been, focus on what we're learning and how we can never unlearn these things. And we're only getting wiser, more evolved. And that's what we came into this physical body to do. This is we're evolving and growing. And that's in huge quantum leap, actually, in the last couple of years, especially people watching videos like this. So we can never undo that work, and you'll carry it with you in all your incarnations. You'll always be wiser for all this hard work. So the universe just wanted to remind you of that.
Wow, thank you so much, Janine. I really appreciate that. And folks, please do go subscribe to Tarot by Janine on YouTube and also Sending Ravens. And stay tuned here in the next couple of days. So far, I have, of course, Janine on the Monday and Wednesday show. We might change those posters again to do some special reporting. So again, we're going to be event-driven here, so to speak. I do have Penny Kelly on the line for February 22nd, so that could be an interesting show. Joe, if you want to join us to do a segment with that, you're more than welcome. And yeah, so anyways, just go and check out these upcoming lives. There's quite a bit there, but again, just do bear with me here. We might have to change some scheduling around here to accommodate for all of these crazy events that are happening in our realm. And of course, all of this is possible because of you, the subscribers and the supporters on pay-per-view and also at the Insider Access Pass. You really make it possible for us to be out here. So a big thank you to all of you. And probably tomorrow I will be uploading the last show Janine and I recorded. Is Janine Investigate the Starseed program and how we are all being called to activate, for those of us who are not activated yet, to our mission, because this is why we chose to come and incarnate at these times. So big thank you to everyone tonight for joining us on this show. A big thank you to you, Richard, to you, Joe above me, and also to the amazing Janine. And a big thank you Maison Jupiter, man, I'm so tired. I haven't slept much. But a big thank you to Julie at Maison Jupiter and remotely here organizing this show so that we can produce this stuff while I'm on the road. She's doing an amazing job putting this together, and I really appreciate her help. And you can support her, of course, at maisonjupiter.com. And there, the Beyond Mystic code will give you 10% off the birth charts and also the tarot readings with her lovely sister, Sophie. I'm Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.